I felt like the first 3 or 4 years I kind of carried the thing by myself. In the last 3 or 4 years, I would put the leaders up in Get Paid Nation against any leadership in this company. And that's not the great because I'm biased, I'm sure, but I do love my guys and my girls, so I love you all my leaders because you can't have been awesome. And I was trying to think of where to start this talk. Where I got to start you is kind of in the beginning, because I was thinking how we started and found all these leaders, and it was different ways, but it always started at events like this. And I remember, one of my first days, one of my first men, I remember Dave Watson. Some of you guys know Dave Watson. He's the first trainer I ever saw my very first day. If you don't know Dave, he's the guy that's got his own airplane that this company helps pay for. It's kind of a cool deal. And Dave, my very first day, said this: if you've never made $25,000 a month in network marketing, you've never really done this. Here's what I want you to think about as I'm doing this talk. I want everybody, I don't care if you're in the front row, I don't care if you've been doing this for 10 years. As I'm doing this talk, some of this stuff, you guys are going to shut me off. I know you're going to shut me off because you're going to think it's too basic.
Everyone.
Okay, but I want you to understand this.
$25,000 a month.
If you had the leaders on your team already to get you to the next level, you would already be there.
Never.
So we need to start with that fresh mindset. When we leave an event, we got to go start a new team, or what I call a new franchise. And when Dave told me that first night, he said, if you've never made $25,000 a month in network marketing, I don't care what else you've done, you've never done this. And he said, if you want to win here, how many people want to win here? He said, what you need to do is you need to humble yourself. And you need to become coachable and teachable. Here was my problem. At that point, I was 24 years old, and I thought I was pretty cool. I was suffering from ITC. I know a lot of you know what that means. It means I'm too cool. And the easiest way to diagnose, I saw 3 people in here who had that, but they already left. And the easiest way to diagnose them are those always the people that's ego is way bigger than their bank account. That was me. But for some reason, my very first day, I looked at Dave, I looked at the guy in the front room, and for the first time in my life, I said, you know what? I want his bank account. I want his airplane. I want the guys that are on the stage, I want their lifestyle. And I decided that day, I was going to take my ego and for the first time in my life, shove it in my pocket and not let it back out. I decided that day I was going to become coachable and teachable, so eventually I could become unstoppable. And here's what I found. The best coaches, right? I'm a huge sports guy, but the best coaches, think of all the best coaches you know. Let me ask you this question. Not all the time, but weren't they usually the best players first? Yeah. Right now, right here, you need to become the best player. Then you can become the best coach. You need to become the best follower. Then you become the best leader. You need to become the best student in this arena right now. Then you will be the best leader. And I wrote down word for word what he told me to say, and I literally read it to my friends. And in 3.5 hours, I made my first $1,200. I made my first 12 sales with this idea. And I was fired up. Here's what's crazy. Now I travel all over the world and people pay money to listen to me talk. This is the most insane thing in the world. I was in Bangkok, Thailand, and 9,000 people flew into one of these events and paid money to listen to me talk. And when I'm on stage, and right now, you guys want to know what I do? I just teach people how to get what I got. That's my only goal right now in this little 30-minute segment, is I want to do the very best I can at taking you from where you are now to over $100,000 every month in income. To where you are now to one major vacation every 3 weeks. And this has been an amazing event. The trainers have killed it. Mark, the recognition's been an amazing event. We're teaching you exactly how to do it. Now here's the crazy part. 90% of you are going to leave this arena today. Look around. 90% of the people you see, look to your left, look to your right, they're going to fly home and they're not going to attempt what we tell them to do one single time. I tell the truth, by the way. Is that okay with everybody here? If you're looking for the sugarcoat guy, I'm the get paid guy. If you're looking for the kumbaya guy, I'm the get paid guy. I'm not the kumbaya guy. What I do is I tell you the good and the bad, so at the end, you can make a real decision to see if you really want to go get this thing done or not. If you want somebody to sugarcoat it, go somewhere else.
It's nasty.
Somebody say bonus training.
Bonus training.
So, what was that talking about?
You got something. Teach people different.
You guys aren't helping.
90%.
Why? Okay, got it, thank you. Why? If we can give you the roadmap of how to go to the life you're living now to the lifestyle these guys are talking about, why will only 10% of people do it? You want to know why I believe it is? It's because my first night, I had to read a script to my friends. And I was brand new, see, I've never done this before. How many are like me and this is your first time? Yeah, I sucked. And guess what? Your first day, when you start implementing the things you're teaching you, you're gonna suck too. So what, by the way? Everybody in this room, including the traders and especially me, sucked on their first day. You just weren't around to watch us. So, I was uncomfortable. That was the whole problem, but here's what I believe about comfort. Your comfort zone equals your wealth zone. Here's what I believe. Around the age of 25, most Americans fall into a comfort zone. And what we do is we spend our next 50 years on this earth living in and protecting this stupid little comfort zone. And when you fall into a comfort zone, your dreams die and you just breathe for another 50 years. So the question becomes this. The way to expand your wealth zone is to start by expanding your comfort zone. So how do you expand your comfort zone? Here's the only way I know how to do it. The only way I've ever found to expand my comfort zone and my wealth zone is I had to think about the things in my life today. What about your life right now pisses you off? What is it? Here's what it was for me. I hated, when I was in your chair, I hated that I was an adult in America, working as hard as I could, but I still had to check my bank account before I could make decisions.
Ooh.
I hated
that got to me. Right in my pocket.
You want to know what's worse than that? My dad works in the same mine for 37 years in the coldest part of America. And I watched him put on 3 layers of clothes and go work in that mine every day and not be able to afford a nice vacation to get out of there. Yeah. And you know what pissed me off? Is that I was helpless because I didn't have money. People always ask me, when I go work so hard, like Mark said, they say, why are you here? In the last 45 days, I did 107 major events, major presentations, not 2-on-1s. And people ask me, why are you still doing this? Here's why. I didn't come from any money. And I want to help other people like me. My goal is to be the last Grzybowski on this earth to ever say those words. That crap is going to end with Eric. There will be a day where some little kid says, great grandpa Eric, he's the one who changed us Grzybowskis from minors to millionaires. But you want to know what was even worse than watching my parents work like that? Sunday nights. I used to hate Sunday nights in my old life. Because Monday through Friday, I was so sick of walking into the stupid office, it felt like walking into jail. And then Monday through Friday, I sit in jail, and the Friday afternoon was like breaking out. It was like, oh, Weekend, right? And we're all in a great mood on Friday. TGIF, baby. Woohoo! Saturday, oh yeah, but y'all know it's coming, don't you? Sunday night. And I used to have to go home on Sunday night and set this stupid little thing called an alarm clock. I mean, all that feeling in the pit of your stomach on Sunday night? Yes. When you go set that little alarm clock. Because you know, you gotta wake up early Monday morning and do it all over again. Yep. Not because you choose to, no. It's because you gotta pay your bills. I had somebody come up to me the other day and they said, Eric, I love my job. I said, cool, do it for free then.
That's it.
I quit college when I realized it was designed to teach me how to get a job. It was designed to teach me how to pay bills. Now I know I'm here and I get that. But I didn't see me spending my precious time on this earth 40 hours a week somewhere I didn't want to be just to pay stupid bills. So I knew I had to do it differently. Here's the crazy part. It took me getting invited out to World Ventures and coming to my first event just like this and sitting in the way back to finally meet some people that wanted to teach me how to design a life instead of pay bills. How to design a life instead of get a job. I'm not here to teach you how to get a job. I'm here to teach you how to quit a job. I have a condition. I am allergic to W-2s. I want to teach y'all to design a life so you don't have to make choices like everybody has jobs. Because here's how I see everybody else in that real world, not in Wayne's world. I'm saying in the real world. Here's how I see them all making choices. It's always based off of two factors. Do we have enough money to do it, or do we have enough time to do it? What if we could teach you here, with our training system, with our advantage program, how to design a life so you can make choices based off of one factor. Do you want to do it or not? Time and money are no obstacle. Check this out. In the beginning, I worked really hard. I didn't do a lot of dream trips. I didn't do a lot of vacations. For those of you that want to win big here, it's 1,000 days. People always tell me, how do I get the big money? You do 1,000 days, 3 presentations a day. 3 a day, every day, all I see is IMD. That's my goal for 1,000 days. Now, as you're finding out, I am a little slow. So, it took me about 5 years. Really, going hard to get this thing done. But for the last 3 years, I've averaged 1 major vacation every 3 weeks. But I made a decision 3 years ago, I will no longer vacation like a normal person. For my last 100 vacations, I have bought one-way tickets, and I have stayed till I was bored.
Oh. Damn.
What would that feel like? You know what I figured out about myself? And I think most of us are like this. Tell me if you're like this too. I didn't need to be rich. I just wanted to be able to do whatever the hell I wanted to do. I didn't want anybody to tell me what I had to wear anymore. I didn't want anybody to tell me when I got to eat lunch. I didn't want anybody telling me how much vacation time I got. I wanted to own my life. And that's what I want for you today. So I got to start you at the very beginning. We're looking for contacts. I need everybody in here to make a new list. And I know you're sitting there and you're double IMD and you're IMD and you're $1 million earner, or you've been doing this, you're a marketing director, and you go, I already made my list in the beginning. Let me give you some real life examples of how every franchise in the Give Paid Nation, Every major team that has paid me and given me this lifestyle was started me sitting in one of these seats, getting fired up at a training just like this, and writing down new names on people. Team Rhino! Boot camp. 5 years ago, sitting in one of these seats, me, making a new list. One of the names on there was a young man I grew up with and hadn't seen for 6 years, named Roscoe Taylor. Now, to make sure we have correct numbers and there is no exaggeration and no marketing director talk, or no network marketing talk, which means you exaggerate, I got the exact numbers for you of what these names, this list I made, what it's led to so far. Getting my compliance on, shout out to Mark. Through that names list, through calling Roscoe Taylor to date, 21,829 members have joined. Doing the math in your head, every one of these people, when I placed them, was placed on a double pay leg. Start doing some math of what can happen if you give yourself a fresh start right now and you get serious about making a real list, and when you leave here, start a new team. TDI, where are you at? Anybody remember the momentum where they released the BMW? In Dallas, remember? We did a momentum in Dallas 4 years ago, maybe? We were in the basement of a hotel. That's how many people showed up to momentum that year. I was in the back talking to Byron, and I had a flight going back to Chicago to keep building Team Rhino, but I knew Team Rhino wasn't going to get me to where I needed to go because they were already too big, and I needed to get out of their way and let them lead on their own. I changed my flight, I made a new list, I got fired up, I saw Troy Brown do Hey Billy. If you don't have that CD or that audio, listen to that. And I got fired up, and I was in the back sitting next to Byron, and I started writing down names. One of the names I wrote down was Nate Aho. He started a team called TDI that led to Jonathan Henderson and all the awesome leaders out there in the Carolinas. Today, 16,995 memberships on that team. Team Legacy, can I hear you out there? Remember the momentum in Nashville a couple years back? Sitting in your seats, momentum in Nashville, getting fired up, making new lists that led to a guy named Randy and Wanda Webb. That led to Mona Lexington Jones, that led to all the great leaders that are out there on that team. To date, 18,115 memberships. From sitting in your chair and making a new list and not saying I had done enough. See, I've come a bunch of these events, got fired up, but I never put a list on paper. And you know what? My team grew when I left, and I went out and worked hard, but I never started a new team. I never started a new team unless I sat in my chair and I made a new list. So at least get 10 on paper. Before lunch, get 10 new names on paper. They might be the people you showed 5 years ago when they started. If you're brand new, who are the 10 people, if we gave you $1 million right now, you would have the most fun splitting it with? Those are the 10 I want on paper, and I want to show them in 24 to 48 hours because this business is built for speed. Fast is fun, slow sucks. From there, you gotta build your list. You gotta have your list as big as possible. You're always meeting new people. I heard Troy Brown say that. You're always building that list. To get what I got, it took 200 names. 200 names on a sheet of paper. First name, last name, phone number. I remember sitting in your chair one of my first days, and I thought I knew who was going to say yes and who was going to say no. Anybody else do that? I mean, I literally remember my first day sitting in the chair going, I got this one girl, That's how I used to talk before the World Ventures training system. It's that good. But I was like, I got this one girl, she travels all the time, she can do it for sure. She didn't do it. And I was like, man, I got this one guy, he knows everybody. He didn't do it. There was other people I hesitated to call because I didn't think they had the money. There's people right now, everybody in this arena hasn't called because they didn't think they had the money. You know what? A lot of those people ended up being some of my top producers because you don't know what they got inside of them. There were some people I thought were too successful. I promise you, everybody you think is too successful, there's somebody in this arena right now that's in World Ventures that's more successful than that person. There is no such thing as too successful. So instead of trying to be a psychic friend, instead of trying to play God, why don't we just show them all and let them sort themselves out? Why don't you just go to your phone and write down, I get that they're in your phone, but I want them on paper so you can see them. And so it bothers you every day. And there's also contacts in here that you don't know that are in here. I want you to shut your brains off. What if at lunch, everybody at lunch shut their brains off? Now that's the easy part for some of us. Jets. And turn your phone on. Brain off, phone on, and write down every single name with phone number. If you don't have 200, go to Facebook until you get to 200. But you're not allowed to think. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they're 8 years old. I don't. If they're in this phone, you write that little sucker down.
You got allowance for standard.
First name, last name, phone number. When the list is done, go to the top and write SW. And I'm not going to get into that anymore. We all know what that means, right? So Wilson won't. Who cares, though? Seriously. Who cares? See, this industry and network marketing creates a ton of first-time millionaires. You're staring at them, a lot of them around here. You guys want to know what else it does? It creates a ton of failures. I told you I was going to tell you the truth, right? It's a double-edged sword here. That's the way it works. When I learned that, I asked the question, why do people fail? Anybody know how you fail at World Ventures? There's one answer. You quit. It's the only way you fail here is because you quit. People quit my team every single day. So what? As I'm doing this talk, I will bet you somebody, somewhere in the world, is quitting my team. So what? There's hundreds of people quitting McDonald's today. Anybody think the president of McDonald's has got his guys around him in his office right now on a Sunday freaking out? He's like, uh-oh, guys. Chelsea in Glendale, 16-year-old Chelsea, she quit today. What should we do? Maybe we'll shut her down. Or do you think he replaces quitters without even noticing and understands a quitter's one job in life is to quit? A winner's job is to replace a quitter with somebody better and never think about a quitter ever again. Whoa. But I said, the only way for us to quit, why do people quit? That answer's interesting. Numbers you fail, numbers you quit, and I hope you don't, but if you do, I know why. It's because your feelings get hurt. That's why people quit this business. That was kind of funny to me. I was one of those guys, I wanted to get paid. I mean, literally, my first question when I got in the system was, when do I get paid? And here's what they said, whatever you do between right now and Friday at midnight, is your check waiting for you in your bank account next Friday. I was like, prove it. Anybody else want to wake up next Friday, just roll out of bed, pull up their bank account on their phone, and just have this great big check from World Ventures just go, boom! Right in the bank account? If that's what you want, and it is possible for everybody in this room, I don't care if you just started today, but when you leave this place, when you fly back home, you have to start taking the yeses and the nos. You got to start taking the results. You got to start taking OPOs, other people's opinions, and you got to detach yourself from it emotionally. I look at myself like a waiter. Let's say we went out to eat after this. You want to know what happened? As soon as we're done eating, the waitress come rushing up to our table and she'd go, "Hey, this guy's saving room for dessert!" And she'd smile. And what do we say right to her face every single time? No, maybe a box and stuff. Does she care? Really? So you can tell your waitresses no right to her face and she doesn't care. My waitresses care. Every time I tell them no, emotionally they're crushed, so what they do is they take a chair and they pull right next to my table. Because I told them no. And then my waitresses, their shoulders, they always shrug like this. And my waitresses, their lips, they always go like this. And they look at me and they go, "Dessert doesn't work." How's that happening? I'm joking. So he was like, "Where the hell is this getting out?" That would be insane if your waitress reacted like that. You'd be going, "This chick, woo-hoo! She needs some help." But I got a question, how are you gonna react? Because I know what's about to happen. You get home, you're gonna be fired up. But the first person we all show is our broke best friend. I don't know why. But we all start there, don't we? So we get all excited to go show our broke best friend. We screw it all up because we're new, because we're uncomfortable. And we get to the end, our broke best friend goes, "Well, that's so stupid." And here's what we do. I don't know if it works. At least after being here this weekend, you better know one thing. It works. It's working real good. Some will, some won't. So what? All right, I gotta move on. So now we got our list. As you're going through that list, I want you to put a little L by the people that are leaders. So what I'm about to teach you right now is how to take that list and how to find leaders and develop leaders from that list. How we've been able to create our own leadership factory within World Ventures through 6 steps. I call it 6 steps to cloning. See, in World Ventures, if you want to get to the highest level, you got to become the right type of person. You got to become the person that other people want to follow, and then you have to figure out how to clone yourself. I want to get rid of it. If there's any way we could, this word duplication. This word duplication is an old network marketing term that was probably invented by some guy in Amway 100 years ago. And we are nothing like any of those old washed up network marketing companies. So can we just have our own words? When I say the word clone, don't you instantly get a visual of what I'm trying to do?
Yes.
Doesn't it just bring it to your head? It's not duplication. I just want to create clones. That's all I want. I want them all over the world. And the first step to creating a clone is identify. If you're taking notes, that would be step 1. Identify what we're looking for in a leader. Somebody we can turn into an IMD. What we are looking for is 5 traits. Number 1, coachable. Number 2, desire. Number 3, credibility with contacts. Number 4, toughness. And I just added a new one, competitiveness.
Ooh!
Coachable.
Every major leader I have is competitive as heck. I'm looking for people that are competitive. So step 1 is to go through that list and identify who you believe could have those 5 traits within your list. A lot of them have 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5. Find the people that are 5 of 5. When you think you have one and they join your business, step 2, challenge. When you have a leader join your team, I don't care if it's a personal or it's a build through, which we'll talk about in a second, from somebody else on your team, as soon as a leader joins your team, they need to be challenged. This talk I'm giving, I saw Randy Webb talk a lot about this at our RMD summit that we had, and with GPN, and Randy Webb, he talked about what I did to him. See, he was in Abilene, Texas, I was living in South Carolina. And I said, if you put in 20 people, I'll come.
What else?
See, I didn't just get a leader in and go right after that leader. I said, you prove to me, you take a step towards me, and I'll take a step towards you. Because I know the leader I want on my team is going to be competitive. And when I challenge that leader, that's going to bring the best out of him. And I'm testing him to see if he can do it without me. Because if I have to be there for every sale that is made, all I have is a low-paying sales job. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in finding people that are going to go do it without me. When you make the challenge, I don't care if you say get 1, I don't care if you say get 4, get 5, put a date on it. A goal without a date is a wish.
A day without a dream is
Step 3,
a wish.
when they qualify, when they meet the challenge, show up. as soon as possible. Here's the mistake I used to make. I'd give my leader a challenge, and they would hit it, and then I'd show up 2 weeks later. And what happened in that 2 weeks is as soon as I told them I was coming, everybody stopped. I told them don't stop, doesn't matter what I told them. As soon as I was coming, everybody stopped. And then I had all these untrained people running around, screwing it up, and by the time I got there 2 weeks later, no momentum anymore. So when you give somebody a challenge, when they hit the challenge, get there the next day if possible. Get there as soon as possible when the momentum is still going. When you get there, step 4, when you're working with this new person, build through and build rapport. When I go see a new person, there's 2 things I want to do. I want to make them a new friend first, and I want to build through their personals so they have to become a leader. I want to make sure when I go to work with a brand new person, they understand I do not care. It is not important at all how many people sign up while I'm there. The only thing that matters to me is how many people sign up when I leave. I went and did a travel party the other day, drove 3 hours. We had 2 people sign up, and the lady who was hosting the travel party was crushed. And I took her in the back and I said, you know what? I didn't come here for them, I came here for you. I don't care if nobody showed up. That's not what matters to me. What matters to me is that I can find a new person who's coachable, has desire, has credibility with your contacts, who's tough and who's competitive, and I can mold you into the person I want you to become. Step 5, create a presenter. Before I leave that new person, I want them standing up on their own, presenting and doing a fast start training afterwards. I don't have a person, I don't have a franchise started until there's somebody on that franchise that is standing up without me. Here's what I believe. Whoever holds the clicker gets paid.
Let's get it.
Here's what I believe, and I've talked to a bunch of leaders about it. My pay, I can tell you how much I'm going to make every month. It's based off of how many people, think about your teams right now. How many people on your pay leg are standing up without you, giving a presentation and closing you? If you got 1, you make $1,000 a month. You got 2, you make $2,000 a month. You got 140, you make $140,000 a month. Every person counts. So that's why I don't care about the people that sign up. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is about creating a new person to stand up, do it without me, and close people. Because I know every person that stands up on my pay leg, does presentations, closes people without me is worth $1,000 a month. Step 6. Shut them all up. Shut them all up. You know why we lose people in the beginning? Because of their ignorant friends. I got interviewed the other day, and they asked me, what's the one gift you would give somebody, a normal person, for them to create wealth? I said that's real simple. The only way you can become wealthy is when you stop being addicted to the approval of what your ignorant friends think about you. And all my friends, I got a bunch of punk friends just like you. I got a bunch of suckers. Bunch of them. Bunches. And they all talk crap about me in the beginning. But when you start making $100,000 a month, they shut up. And I know they want to talk, but when we win, what are they really going to say?
What's 3, bro?
See, and when I start with a brand new person, I got to get them paid. Because I know our job is to prove to all their friends that are talking smack that it works. See, and I don't know when they're going to stop talking, but I do know this. They all got a breaking point. I know it. Now some of your friends are going to quit talking when you make your first 1,000. They'll literally make your money back and prove it. Some of them are going to stop talking. Some of them are going to stop talking when you get your BMW and you drive it through their yard and the license plate says, "You said no." In the magazine, and you got the convertible, and now you're driving through their yard with your magazine out the front, and they're in the front door, and they want to say something, but what they gonna say? Some are gonna talk when you make R&D, and you come to Fiji with us. And you start posting pictures in Fiji with Wayne Nugent, and they want to comment, but what they gonna say? They all talk in the beginning, but when we win, we just shut them up. Some are going to shut up when you get your IMD ring and you're in front of 15,000 people at a sold-out arena. They want to talk, but what they gonna say? Some of these pretender companies, they're talking about us right now. But when we do 10 billion, what they gonna say? Some washed up World Ventures are gonna leave your team, and they're gonna go to another company, and they're talking crap about how we can't do it, and this will never work. And they talk and talk and talk, but when we do 100 billion, what they gonna say? And when we get World Ventures Airlines,